Greek and Hebrew, and at times it is laborious. It is difficult. I had no aptitude for language. I mean, it is, you have to memorize. The older you are, the harder it is to memorize. But it is a necessary discipline in order to dig into the text of Scripture. Expository preaching is exegetically grounded. It involves grasping the theme of the book, the larger and immediate context, the key words, the literary unit, sentence structure, grammar, syntax, parsing verbs, textual variants, figures of speech, historical background, geographical setting, cultural background, on and on, nouns, pronouns, adjectives, verbs, tenses, moods, participles, infinitives, phrases, clauses. Everything that I refused to study in high school. Listen, my father was a professor in medical school for over 30 years. I grew up in a professor's home. Brilliant man, brilliant scientist. My mother graduated valedictorian, wherever she went to school. My brother is a medical doctor and professor at the University of Vanderbilt Medical School. My sister was a brilliant school teacher. And then there was me. I played football, basketball, baseball, ran track. I went to college on a football scholarship, played football for 4 years in college. I got through school on Cliff Notes, tutors that the football program would provide. I've read books literally every other page just to get through it. My father was so frustrated with me until God called me to preach. And when God called me to preach, it was like someone flicked a switch on inside of me. There is no reason for me to do what I do except God has done it. My whole life was just sports. I went to one of the finest high schools in the whole country. All of my classmates went to Princeton, Harvard, MIT, Yale, Stanford, Rice, Vanderbilt, on and on and on. I played football at Texas Tech. That's all I wanted to do. And when God called me to preach, God made me a student. God made me a learner. God gave me an insatiable appetite to read and to learn. And I wasn't smart enough to figure it out. I didn't know what God was doing. I can only look back over my shoulder now and retrace my steps. But it was God who was at work within me, both to will and to work for His good pleasure. Before my father passed away, he walked into my study at the church. I have a couple of studies at the church. Books, floor to ceiling. I've written 18 books. My father walked into that study and he looked at all those books. And he looked at me and he literally said, "Surely there's a God in heaven." One of the most precious moments of my life. My father, the PhD, the professor, finally having a son who would read and who would study and who would learn. But I'll tell you this. I knew that I didn't know anything. Some people don't know that they don't know. Those are dangerous people. I knew that I did not know, and that I had to read and to get it into me however I could. And the whole exegetical process is so foreign to my growing up. Sentence diagramming, conjugating verbs. You're going to be doing all of this. And just remember this moment. Seriously. It is a means to a greater end. You're going to be staying up late with flashcards and just trying to get these verb tenses down. You're going to have to be turning in assignments on sentence diagramming, and you're going to be going, what in the world? I just want to preach. Well, you're not going to have anything to say. And you're not going to have the conviction that this is the truth. Luther said, if it had not been for the original languages, he said, I would not have even been saved. He said, the gospel came to me through my study of the Scripture in the original languages.